Wack 100 and the ongoing legal battles surrounding Big U. Right now, there's speculation that Wack 100 might be one of the hidden informants in Big U's RICO case, also known as the RICO case. This is a serious federal investigation that has reportedly caused legal trouble for people connected to No Jumper. And now Big U is caught in a storm trying to figure out who these confidential sources might be. The situation has escalated in a way that makes it hard for anyone close to him to know who to trust. The drama gained momentum after Poetic Flacco released a viral video which prompted fans to dig into the paperwork and notice a reference to someone labeled CHS2. Almost immediately, social media users pointed out that the abbreviation CHS2 looked suspiciously similar to a past label, CS2, which was linked to Wack 100 in an earlier case. The timing also lines up, creating even more questions. People started asking whether this is a simple coincidence or whether Wack 100 is truly involved in providing information to the authorities. The internet ran with it, and now the speculation is louder than ever. Big U's situation is complicated. He is facing serious charges, including murder, conspiracy, and RICO allegations, which alone carry severe consequences. The addition of potential confidential informants in his circle makes things even more tense. Legal experts note that Big U's attorneys have been filing motions demanding that prosecutors turn over the names and documents of those cooperating with the government. This includes both known witnesses and unknown informants who may have provided information on him. The intention behind these filings is understandable, but it also creates friction with prosecutors who aim to protect their confidential sources. The CHS2 label is significant because it shows activity going back to October 2020. This is the same time that Wack 100 was publicly confronting Big U online, which has led many to connect the dots. Historically, Wack and Big U were close, even tied through family connections, but tensions rose after Wack 100 did an interview with 6ix9ine. From that point, Big U began publicly calling Wack out and labeling him a rat. In street culture, that is a serious accusation and can permanently damage a person's reputation. Now, the internet is debating whether the CHS2 label could be referring to Wack 100 or if it's just a coincidence fueled by timelines and public drama. The paperwork shows that CHS2 has been working with federal authorities since 2020 and has provided information on Big U and his associates. However, CHS2's role is limited. They cannot consensually record conversations with Big U or anyone at the target locations. They only provide information they acquire from acquaintances. While this is still considered sensitive and important in the eyes of law enforcement, it also means that the connection to Wack 100 is far from confirmed. Some people online are taking these details and constructing entire theories, while others are waiting for court confirmation before jumping to conclusions. Meanwhile, Big U is in a high-pressure situation. He has been accused of extortion, intimidation, and running a large-scale RICO operation. These are serious accusations, and even though they are not proof of guilt, they paint a picture that could influence public perception and court proceedings. Big U's motion to gain access to confidential informants is a direct attempt to challenge the narrative and ensure he can defend himself properly. This includes access to unknown informants who are still on the streets and could potentially provide testimony against him in the future. The Bear Claw shop plays a critical role in this story. Big U and his associates would meet there to communicate, especially about matters related to potential legal risks. The location became highly significant for law enforcement, and the feds worked to monitor all activity around it. CHS2, along with other confidential sources, could not physically infiltrate the shop for safety reasons. However, their information about meetings and communications was still valuable for investigators building the case against Big U. Social media has turned this legal battle into a public spectacle. Fans and followers have been scrutinizing every detail, from old interviews to legal documents, trying to determine if Wack 100 could indeed be CHS2. While the similarities in names and timing are raising eyebrows, there is still no confirmed proof linking Wack 100 directly to these confidential human source labels. This distinction is important because in legal terms, nothing can be treated as fact until it is presented and confirmed in court. The situation is further complicated by geography. CHS-2 does not live in Los Angeles, which limits their ability to interact directly with Big U. Despite this, CHS-2 is believed to have provided monetary compensation in exchange for information on Big U and assistance with other federal investigations. This means that the informant is a paid source, which adds another layer of controversy to the story. People online are debating whether this points to someone high-profile like Wack 100 or if it is someone completely unexpected who fits the profile. As speculation continues, another label, CHS-3, has also entered the conversation. Some are joking that if Wack 100 is not CHS-2, perhaps he upgraded to CHS-3. Others believe that the emergence of multiple confidential source labels indicates that there are several people providing information, each with a distinct role. The legal documents suggest that CHS-3 has been assisting law enforcement in other federal investigations since 2019, which has also drawn suspicion from certain communities. Despite all the online theories and rumors, the truth is that none of these allegations have been proven in court. Everything being discussed is based on speculation, public observations, and interpretations of timelines and past behaviors. The internet thrives on connecting dots and creating narratives, and this situation is no exception. The key takeaway is that until official confirmation occurs in court, it is impossible to definitively state who CHS-2 or CHS-3 are. Big U's lawyers are attempting to navigate a challenging legal landscape. They are filing motions to uncover the names of informants and gather as much information as possible to mount a defense. However, these actions are not guaranteed to succeed. Prosecutors are cautious, particularly when dealing with ongoing investigations that involve sensitive information. Revealing confidential informants could compromise cases, endanger individuals, and potentially affect future prosecutions. The public response has been intense. Fans, commentators, and social media users are dissecting every detail of the case, from court filings to interviews and past interactions. Every new video, tweet, or post adds fuel to the fire, keeping the conversation alive and engaging. This kind of attention also increases pressure on everyone involved, particularly Big U, who is already facing serious charges and has limited options to maneuver legally. One of the biggest challenges in this case is distinguishing between fact and speculation. Just because someone appears in a legal document or is referenced in the media does not automatically make them guilty or even involved in the investigation. Law enforcement and legal experts caution against jumping to conclusions without concrete evidence. The differences between CHS-2, CHS-3, and other confidential sources are nuanced, and making assumptions could be misleading. The situation also highlights the complexities of modern investigations. Federal authorities must balance the need to protect confidential sources with the accused's right to a fair defense. This tension creates a delicate legal environment where motions and filings can become strategic tools in both protecting sources and challenging the prosecution's case. Big U's legal team is trying to push for transparency, but this is a careful process that must consider all legal implications. Meanwhile, Wack 100's role in all of this remains unconfirmed. While timelines and public interactions suggest possible connections, there is still no official evidence linking him to CHS-2 or CHS-3. Online discussions and theories are rampant, but they remain speculative. The only way to confirm the identity of these confidential sources is through court proceedings where evidence can be reviewed and verified. The Bear Claw shop continues to be a focal point in this story. Law enforcement's interest in the location demonstrates how critical communication and meeting points are in investigations like this. CHS-2 and CHS-3's limited access to the shop does not diminish the value of their information, but it does show that they were cautious in how they engaged with Big U and his associates. Safety and strategy were clearly key considerations for confidential sources providing information to authorities. As the case unfolds, social media will continue to play a huge role in shaping public perception. Every post, video, or rumor adds layers to the story, whether accurate or not. The online chatter reflects broader interest in high-profile legal cases and the personalities involved. People are naturally drawn to speculation, but it is important to differentiate between rumors and verified facts. The timeline of events is particularly intriguing. October 2020 emerges as a key moment, with Wack 100 publicly confronting Big U and tensions escalating. Around the same time, CHS2 begins providing information to authorities. Whether these timelines align by coincidence or not, they have contributed to the speculation online. Observers are piecing together past interactions, interviews, and public statements to form theories, but nothing has been proven definitively. Another important aspect is the question of motive. CHS2 and potentially other informants appear to have been compensated monetarily for their cooperation. This raises questions about why someone would take on such a role. For some, it could be financial. For others, it could be legal strategy or safety concerns. Regardless of the reason, the fact that there is compensation involved adds complexity to the narrative and fuels further speculation. The multiple confidential source labels, including CHS2 and CHS3, show that the investigation is layered. There are likely several people providing information, each with different levels of access and involvement. This makes it challenging to pinpoint exactly who is behind each label, especially when multiple individuals are operating independently or in parallel. The legal system has to manage these details carefully to ensure fairness and accuracy in court proceedings. Despite all the drama and speculation, the core principle remains that only the court can confirm the truth. Accusations in paperwork or public claims are not proof. Evidence must be reviewed, witnesses must testify, and judges must evaluate the validity of claims. Until that happens, every theory about Wack 100, CHS2, or CHS3 remains speculative. The pressure on Big U is immense. Facing RICO, murder, and conspiracy charges is overwhelming on its own, and the possibility of confidential informants in his circle complicates his defense even further. He must rely on his attorneys to navigate motions, filings, and negotiations carefully. Every action has consequences, and mistakes could have serious implications for his ability to fight the case. As more information emerges, the story will continue to evolve. Public speculation will likely continue alongside legal developments. The combination of high-profile figures, federal investigations, and social media attention makes this a case that will be discussed for months to come. Analysts, fans, and observers will continue connecting dots, debating timelines, and speculating about confidential sources. Now, moving deeper into the situation, one of the biggest questions people are asking is how these confidential sources actually operate. CHS2 and CHS3, and potentially others, play very specific roles in the investigation. They provide information to the authorities, sometimes based on observations or conversations, but they do not have full access to all operations. For example, CHS2 is limited to what they can gather from acquaintances and avoid putting themselves in direct danger. The federal authorities rely on this type of intelligence to piece together the bigger picture without exposing their sources to unnecessary risk. This shows how layered and careful these investigations are. At the same time, online chatter continues to explode. Fans are going back to old interviews, looking at social media interactions, and trying to see patterns that might indicate Wack 100's involvement. Many people point to the October 2020 timeline, when Wack 100's public conflict with Big U escalated. This was right after Wack 100 did the controversial interview with 6ix9ine, which some viewers see as a turning point. Social media has turned this into a detective game, with users analyzing public statements, video clips, and legal filings to try to figure out who CHS2 and CHS3 might be. The Bear Claw shop comes up repeatedly in discussions, and for good reason. It was a central location where Big U and his associates would meet, and it became a key focus for law enforcement. CHS2 could not infiltrate this location.
safety concerns, but information about what went on there still reached investigators. This shows how confidential sources can be vital without ever stepping foot into a risky environment. CHS-3, on the other hand, had more extensive involvement in other federal investigations and was able to provide intelligence that raised suspicion in certain communities. It is important to remember that the legal system works very differently than social media speculation. While fans are piecing together timelines and labels, the courts are focused on evidence and verification. Accusations or references in paperwork do not automatically equate to guilt. The authorities have to carefully analyze the information provided by CHS-2, CHS-3, and other sources before it can be used in court. That is why, despite the intense rumors online, nothing is officially confirmed yet. People online also debate the motives of confidential sources. CHS-2, for example, has reportedly been compensated for their cooperation. This could be financial, a strategic move, or simply a way to protect themselves legally. Whatever the reason, it adds another layer of controversy because paid informants are often viewed skeptically by the public. This skepticism feeds discussions about whether someone high-profile like Wack 100 could be involved, or if it's just a coincidence that the timelines and labels appear similar. Adding more complexity, CHS-3 has been involved in federal investigations since 2019, assisting authorities with operations in Los Angeles. This involvement has led to speculation that there may be multiple sources providing intelligence simultaneously. Each source has different access levels, risks, and information, which makes the case more layered and harder to fully understand from the outside. The general public only sees parts of the picture, and often those parts are exaggerated or misunderstood. Big U's legal team is in a tough spot. They are filing motions to uncover the identities of the confidential sources, but prosecutors are hesitant. Revealing informants can compromise ongoing investigations, endanger people, and affect future cases. Big U's team is trying to balance the need for a fair defense with the risk of pushing too hard and potentially creating problems with the court. It's a delicate situation where every legal move can have significant consequences. Meanwhile, the speculation online continues to grow, sometimes turning into memes or exaggerated theories. Some people joke that if Wack 100 is not CHS-2, maybe he upgraded to CHS-3, or that there might even be a CHS-102 out there somewhere. These kinds of jokes show how people are trying to make sense of a complicated situation, but they also illustrate how quickly rumors can spread and take on a life of their own. The real danger in this speculation is that it can blur the line between accusation and proof. Just because a name appears in documents or a timeline seems suspicious does not mean someone is guilty. Law enforcement and legal experts consistently remind the public that only the courts can verify facts. Everything else remains conjecture, no matter how convincing it seems on social media. The timeline is particularly crucial in understanding why speculation is so intense. October 2020 is the key moment where tension between Wack 100 and Big U escalated publicly. CHS-2 started providing information to the authorities around the same time. The overlap has led people to believe there is a connection, but it is important to note that correlation does not equal causation. The fact that events line up does not automatically prove involvement. Geography also plays a role in this story. CHS-2 is not based in Los Angeles, which limits their ability to interact directly with Big U or his immediate circle. Despite this, CHS-2 has still been able to provide valuable information to investigators, showing that even sources outside the immediate area can have an impact. This detail has led some people to question whether Wack 100 could even be involved, given his known locations and public activity. The Bear Claw shop remains a symbol of the case. It was the central meeting point for Big U and his associates, and law enforcement focused heavily on monitoring it. The shop represents the tension between street-level activity and federal oversight. While CHS2 and CHS3 could not always be present physically, their contributions helped authorities understand what was happening within this critical location. Another layer of complexity is added by the fact that CHS2 reportedly received monetary compensation for their cooperation. This raises questions about motivation. Are they acting purely for financial gain, for legal protection, or to assist authorities in a larger investigation?